Good evening, folks, and welcome to your Sunday night with the Toon Review live. And again, it's one of the best and worst of our series on a Sunday night, just to finish off your weekend before the season, of course, starts very, very soon. Tonight, it is the worst Premier League 11 of all time, with 3 subs and a manager. So, of course, we've done some digging, definitely, and it's going to be very interesting to see who we've all picked as the worst of all time. And, yeah, we'll get cracked on with that in a minute. Just a couple of little different snippets from Newcastle United, of course, beating Burnley very, very comfortably in over 2 games, actually. Split the squads and comfortably annihilated them twice, which was good to see. Good to see Miggy back on the score sheet again. Good to see Elliot Anderson performing really well. And it's looking good. But, of course, it's a huge test on Tuesday night against Benfica, so really looking forward to that one. And other transfer news is that, of course, Brozier has become available again after West Ham pulled out of the deal. I'm not sure why they pulled out the deal. There's no real description as to why. However, it has been reported that we are, of course, sniffing back around for him again, which will be interesting to see if we do, because obviously we know that we need to have another striker in. Is Brozier the man? Danielle, do you think would you be happy with Brozier?
Yeah, I would.
You would?
I think West Ham are signing someone else, and that's why they backed out.
Shamaka or whatever, Skamaka or whatever his name is.
Yeah. I think that's why they pulled out. But yeah, I mean, we need a striker. We need someone who can score goals. Yeah, definitely for me.
Alex, Brozier.
Yeah, definitely. It's not our first choice, but
no,
we've reviewed him. It's very, very competent. It's still quite a raw player, but with the way the coaching staff work, I think it'd be great. He'd be given the right instructions. He'd learn. Possibly could be flexible with where he plays to a degree as well. We'll see, because he loves his little channel runs. Well, I'd take him. Yeah.
Billy, what about yourself?
Yeah, lad's got lots of promise. Very powerful for a young lad. Quick. Yeah, I think I'd take him as a backup for Callum Wilson every day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be good. It'll have me a bit of more confident over what we've got at the minute with, of course, Chris Wood. But hopefully, listen, Callum Wilson may stay fit for long periods of the season, which would be an extra bonus for us. Listen. We'll see what happens over the next few days. Of course, Dan Ashworth is in Portugal. He's been on the training field with Eddie Howe as well. So it was interesting to see them photoed, of course, with Dan Ashworth's training top on as well, with his initials on. So listen, he's hands-on, and that's what we want to see. And hopefully we can see something very shortly come to fruition on the transfer front. But I expect something to happen this week. I generally do. I don't think they'll wait till the week before the season starts. I think if they're going to go in for some players, it will hopefully be this week. And we can see what happens with that. Hazza, thank you for becoming a new member of the Toon Review. Welcome to the family. A lot of people are asking for the fantasy code again. Listen, the fantasy code is placed under various other videos. It's out there, guys. It's in a million places, literally. Rachel's in the house. Good evening. Darren says Taibbi in goal. Then the rest of the squad shared between Sunderland and Derby. Listen, their squads, I know we're poor, but listen, there's been some horrific footballers over the years in the Premier League, it is fair to say. And we will certainly be covered. Most of them, I think, will get mentioned tonight. I have no doubt about it. Tom says...
Oh?
What does Tom say? Tom says, evening, Paul, Daniel, and Alex. Where did we get to? Where did we get to? He's back.
I'm back. I just knocked myself out for. I'm pressing the bloody mouse button. I'm hitting the wrong one. There we are. I'm back. Jesus Christ. Honestly. Tom says, evening, everyone. Wow, worst Premier League team ever. Ali Dia definitely has to be in there. Graham Soon's canned into signing George Weah's fake cousin. I think War Bambi Bramble should get a shout. Ian says there was also that Sunderland striker where it was rumoured Peter Reid had signed the wrong guy by mistake. Graham Soon has probably had a few in the list, both right howlers at Liverpool. How come Everton aren't going to be punished by the Premier League? Well, we've discussed that many times, and that maybe they will. We'll see what happens in due course with that. Up the A1, good evening. Pretty hard one tonight, quite a few. Kane, good evening. Scott, evening, everyone. Rough as a badger's ass with COVID. So I need my Toon review fixed now more than ever. Get well soon, matey. Good evening, Julie. Bradley, big toes in the house. £6.10. Wow, there's a new one. Evening, everyone. Hi, Paul. Jackie says, evening, Toon review family. Right, we may as well get straight into this. Paul, did you watch Adam's log from Lisbon? Yes, I did. I watched it about an hour ago. Cesare says, Danielle, you look beautiful. Where are you going? Interesting. Cesare being nice there. Anyway, let us start off with our goalkeeper. Now, Alex, you told us before the show that you don't have a goalkeeper. So,
well, I have many. I just haven't picked from them, and I'd rather go with my heart with the goalkeepers, to be honest.
Right. So, who are you going with?
Barthez.
Oh, interesting.
Partly because I hate him for what he did to us for Marseille, and obviously for his Manchester United days where they were languishing down in 14th for a few weeks, and this was back in their heyday when they were like every year trophy. So for that period of time when they were like in 14th and the papers were panicking, Butterfingers Barthez all over the headlines, I was loving it. It was wonderful.
I definitely remember a few. The Arsenal game at Highbury.
The Arsenal game, when he pulled his shorts up afterwards.
Yeah, he's like, ah!
Multiple times where he bounced the ball outside of the box like a basketball, and the ref missed it. There were so many incidents. So it was his second season in where he they only finished third. So his first season there, he made 30 starts, conceded 18 goals. In his second season, 32 starts, conceded 42. So it was that second season when they finished third, and he was most of the reason behind them dropping to third.
He was terrible. He was.
So it was a third place finish sandwich between two title wins, and it was him. So I've got to put him because I hate him. So
Bob Russell, thank you for becoming a new member of the Toon Review. Welcome to the family, my friend. Danielle, who have you gone for goalkeeper?
I've gone for Lionel Perez.
Oh, now bear in mind we've gone for a 4-3-3 formation again, just to keep this simple, guys.
You said 4-4-2 on Friday night.
Oh, look, did I? I did not. Just go for a 4-4-2 if you've gone for that's fine. I've gone 4-3-3, but it doesn't matter. You've gone you've gone Perez.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he was fourth choice keeper for us, which says a lot.
He was.
29 Premier League appearances, 7 clean sheets. Interestingly, after his time at Newcastle, he admitted he just took the money and stayed to take the money, which sums everything up, really.
I have a funny Lionel Perez story, actually, but I'll tell you another night.
Oh, do you? You always have funny stories, Billy.
This is a classic. I'll tell you another night. It's a cracker.
Okay, fair enough.
I openly took the piss out of him to his face.
Really?
Basically. Do you want to hear the story?
Yeah,
go on then, yeah.
Right, Coventry City versus Newcastle, 98-99. Newcastle won 5-1. Played him off the park. And that day I met Stevie Charlton. I remember old man Stevie. You see him on telly all the time in the stands. The old fella that went to every game since 1927. Met him in the pub before the game. And for some reason, he attached himself to me and was begging tabs off me. And I was buying him drinks and all sorts. He must have been 85, 86 at that time. But after the game, we all went round where the players came out because there was rumours Shearer was going to be on his way to London. To sign for Arsenal. And as we were walking around, we bumped into Stevie Charlton, who'd missed the bus home. Bearing in mind he's 85, 86.
Yeah.
And we tried to get him a lift with the players on the coach. So certain players were coming out. Alan Shearer came out in his Jag. We're all in front of the car. We asked him. No, he's on his way to London. No, you're not, are you? Yeah, we're going to see the Spice Girls at Wembley. Okay, fine. Certainly the players came out. Nothing. Lionel Perez came out and we said, Lionel, do you think you can get Stevie onto the coach? And Lionel says to me, he says, I am just a player. I says, only fucking just you are.
I am just a player. Yeah. I mean, listen, he had a very, let's say Lionel Perez had a very interesting persona, didn't he? On the pitch as well, you know, the slick back hair, his shorts. I think he was one of the first goalkeepers to wear a short sleeve keeper top, if I do remember. It was very strange to see a goalkeeper back then with short sleeve shirts on, but of course now it's the norm. Keith
anyway,
says,
suffice to say, we did get Stevie lift home with one of the directors, so that was all good.
Well, that's all right.
Oh, well done.
Keith is not sure if you spoke about it yet, but Paqueta is now on the cards again. Now Arsenal have pulled out. Yes, we will be talking about that more during the week, of course, especially if anything comes of it. Scott says, do you have to be on a laptop to become a member? No join button on my iPad. Yeah, Apple's a bit weird, Scott. You have to, if you go across to Instagram after the show and click on the link to the channel, and it'll take you to a desktop version where you can become a member, mate. Good evening, you wonderful bunch of lovely people from Belfast. Whatever Tom said made Paul disappear. It wasn't what Tom said. Lisa's Danielle always looks beautiful, Cesare. Oh, there's your man sticking up for you. Mike Hooper was awful, says Bill. Yeah, but we've already had Mike Hooper. We can't really do it to him again. Right, I'll go next for my goalkeeper, and I've got Massimo Taibi from Manchester United. Absolutely dreadful, and I still think Alex Ferguson to this day is embarrassed about that signing. He will never live that down. That wonderful goal that he let through his legs, I think was it Letitia from about 40 yards, which was just literally a back pass and somehow slipped under his legs. He wore tracksuit bottoms on blazing hot days. He was just absolutely shite. And probably one of Manchester United's worst ever signings, I think he'll go down as. So yeah, Taibi for me. Billy?
I'm with you, Massimo Taibi, yeah. Had more balls through his legs than Katie Price.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
He once got chips in the area as well, from inside the area. He was absolutely awful.
He let some stinkers in. He let some real stinkers in. I Like Coffee says, are Paul, Billy, Alex and Danielle going to Portugal?
We wish.
No, we wish. Unfortunately, commitments say otherwise. Look, some of us can go, some of us can't. You know, the kids are on holiday now, so I couldn't just up and go. Plus, Susan wouldn't let me. You know, and we all have commitments now. So, you know, people like Adam Pearson, it's fine for him. He's got no commitments. He's doing it. He's loving what he's doing, and he's away hopping across the Europe's airports and stuff like that, which is good. I'd be doing exactly the same thing, but I have commitments, and I'm not going to hold the kids across Europe.
His vlogs.
Yeah, they're really good. They are really good. The only one thing I can suggest to Adam Pearson is that he gets a proper microphone. Because you can get a Rode microphone now, which I've got for my vlogging kit, which plugs straight into a lightning port of your iPhone, and it comes with one of them big furry dead cat things that blocks the wind out. And I've told him about them, so I don't know whether he'll buy one, but it just makes his sound quality look a lot better because the minute he's just using his iPhone. But hey ho, that's just some advice passed his way. Barbara, good evening. Hope you're well. Mike Hooper, goalkeeper, came to the Toon to sit in his ass and collect his money. The worst ever. Des Hamilton gets a shout. But remember, guys, this isn't just Newcastle players. This is across the board tonight. This is the worst players ever to grace the Premier League. Capacha for that performance at home against Portsmouth. Good evening, Dan. Paul Gallant, good evening. Lionel Perez says Stu, so he agrees with you, Danielle. Musical chairs, indeed. Well, it was sort of at the start. Kevin says the entire Swindon team was terrible in 92-93.
Not all of them. Fjortoff was all right.
Fjortoff was okay. Who was Hodgman manager back then?
No, he left, didn't he? Straight after they got promoted, went to Chelsea.
All right.
John Gorman.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cisco and Nacho, wise as unwise requirements. Alex Runnison for goalkeeper, says Ryan.
Wow.
Kepper, no, we can't have players that are still playing. Remember, that's the rules. Carl says, I recognise Danielle, not sure where from. Oh.
Christ.
Lionel Perez again. Dan's gone for Lionel Perez as well. People saying welcome to Bob. Paul D, you should make a song called Finding a Tunnel. Stu says, agree with Alex there. Barthez was an overrated clown. Chesway says, you look beautiful too, Paul. Oh, thank you, Chesway. He's been on the drink, obviously, today. Lindegaard for me. Roy, Arit, Andrew, besides, or the stupid Castori home kit. Yeah, Roy got his home kit without the sponsor on.
No.
So another one. Yep. Kevin says Scott Carson. He was a liability.
Still playing, I think.
I think he is.
It was at Man City at the end of last season.
Did he not play for us for Manchester City not long ago?
Yeah, it was definitely a Man City.
Was that during the lockdown? I'm pretty sure that might have been the lockdown.
Yeah, and it was the first time he actually played a first game for
about 25 years,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Jeanette Johnston, thank you very much for your £5 super chat. He says, hi, everyone. Can you give a shout out to my grandson, Jack Douglas? He's going to Greece tomorrow. He has to miss the match on Saturday. He's not happy. Oh, dear. We can, Jeanette. Jack, good evening. Hope you're well and have a great time in Greece. Don't worry about the friendlies. You know, get yourself a nice holiday. That's what it's all about. Barthez played for Monaco as well against Newcastle. Tony says, Jean-Alain Boom song. How can we forget him? Anyway, let's move to right back, shall we? We'll have a look at right back now, and we'll start with you, Billy.
Yeah, I've got a bit of an affection for crap players that have played loads of times, and this is one of them. Everton.
Okay.
Tony Hibbert. Absolutely dog shit. Was there for years.
Tony Hibbert? At Everton? Yeah.
Dreadful right back, but managed to play for them for seasons upon seasons.
Yeah, well, yeah, he wasn't a great fullback, but he seemed to be in the team quite a lot. He seemed to drum up many appearances.
He did.
God. Danielle, right back for you?
I've gone for Jan Krumkamp.
Oh, yeah, he was...
My new neighbour's just pulled up in a Dortmund shirt. Sorry, that's just surprising.
That
Why is he in a
distraction?
Dortmund shirt? What?
Wow. All right,
sorry, guys. Continue. Sorry, Daniel.
No, that's fine. He played for Liverpool in 2006. He made 14 appearances.
Yeah.
He was known basically for having no pace whatsoever and almost playing in slow motion, which I found was really, really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
in other words, he was absolute shade.
A couple of players I've got have a bit of a theme running through them. So they were really good international players, and then they joined the team that they played for, and then went to shit after that.
There's been a few of them, actually, Danielle, to be honest. There's been a few players who've played in the Premier League who were absolutely garbage, but were really good international level. Just didn't really fit into the build-up of the Premier League. Mike Hooper's getting a few more mentioned. Dan agrees with you about the goalkeeper. People are putting Pickford, but he's still playing, unfortunately.
I mean, he would obviously win it if we could include him, but we can't right now.
Oh, outrageously so. Barthez was amazing for Man United if you compare him to Taibbi. Probably.
Yeah.
Mark Bosnich was awful, says Kevin. Not so much at Villa. I think Bosnich did well at Villa. I think it was probably... If we go when he moved to Man United, it all went wrong. I think when Man United lost Schmeichel, they found it very, very difficult to replace him. Perez hated Newcastle and slated us, yet lived on the outskirts of Newcastle while playing for the Mackhams. Shiri poked some youth player in both eyes too. Could have blinded him worse than Barton. Wow. Billy needs to write down all these stories in a book and publish it. Well,
exactly.
Billy, have you ever thought of these stories to put on the website?
Could do, yeah.
You could
I've got a good Mick Quinn one as well.
Yeah, put some blogs on, mate. Just type them out and email them to me, and I'll upload them for you. Why not?
Yeah.
I'm sure people would like to have a read of them.
I would like to have a read of them.
Yeah. Paul, this is the only way to get in touch. You forgot to pay a toll from back in September last year. Please follow this up to make a payment. Oh, dear God. Mart Poom from Derby. I thought he was all right. I don't think he was that bad. Tony's just realised, it's a Premier League one. Yes, Tony. Kevin says, I tried through mobile phone to see myself with Paul and Co, but everything kept buffering. Okay. Thought it was Newcastle. No, it's not. Oh, Engelman at Villa. There's another one. Do you remember that throw-in he let in against Villa? Oh, dear.
Against Birmingham.
Yeah. Sorry, it was Birmingham, wasn't he? He was in goal for Villa. Wow. Carl says, I'm heading to Portugal in about 8 hours in God knows what state.
We'll have a
Jesus,
great
Carl.
time.
Yeah, definitely. It looks nice weather. Is it true, Paul, that you finally got the shirt you ordered online? Any problems with the shirt? No, mate, I got it. No problem at all. And it's a lovely fit. Let's just see what it's like after it's been washed. But listen, I have found something new. I am now just washing my black and white tops and football tops that are white separately from everything else. And I found this Dr. something from Tesco. It's a little sort of little white pouch that you put in where you wash.
Yeah.
No,
You shouldn't need one of them though.
No, but it takes all the. You know, I was saying the new one it had like funny dark stains on it when it came out the wash, and you said I was leaving them in too long and stuff like that. But it's taken them all away, and it's bright white again. It's fantastic. I mean,
Wonderful.
I also chuck some vanish in there as well just to make sure. But here, you know, this is a football channel with all sorts of advice.
You got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do.
Home economic tips, fantastic.
Absolutely. Anyway, Alex, you're right back.
I struggled with this one. I did some Googling and there was a lot of suggestions to put Kieran Dyer there because apparently he got shoehorned in there at QPR, which I wasn't aware of. But obviously he was very good for us for a long time, so he can't be. I've gone. I know we're not supposed to be just going Newcastle, but I'm shoehorning Marcelino in there.
You shoehorning Marcelino to right back?
Well, I've shoehorned a lot of my defense, to be fair.
That's fine.
But it's purely for the 20 odd appearances and God knows how many years he was here for. Was it 4 years, 5 years, something like that? And the finger injury supposed thing, it just useless. Like, what's the point? And he cost us a fair whack back in the day as well. So, you know, when you're paying 5-6 million for players back then, it's
I think people forget how much he actually cost us.
Yeah.
Scott White, and thank you. You found out how to become a member, matey. Welcome to the members club, and thank you for supporting the Toon Review family. And Scotty55, thank you for your £4.49 super chat. Evening, Danielle and the gents with the host with the most. Thank you very much, Scotty. Sai says, what's the name of the player Southampton were duped into? We'll come on to him. I'm sure we'll come on to him at some point tonight. I got delivered the sponsor logo, but no shirt. Brilliant. Can you just imagine that? A little sort of thing to iron on with Fun 88 on it. Yeah, brilliant. Oh, God. Anyway, right back, I've gone for the Chelsea legend, Winston Bogart. Now, if you can remember, the Dutch player came to Chelsea and ended up sitting on his ass for something like 8 years. He was given an absolute ridiculous contract, and he didn't want to go anywhere else. And he, by the time his contract finished with Chelsea, he looked a bit like Yasmin Bleeth. So no other club took him on, and that was the end of Winston Bogart. But what a terrible player to have on your books. Absolutely garbage.
I wonder if when his contract ended, did Chelsea fans tweet him, well done, legend, well done, stalwart?
Well, yeah, I can't understand that. And this is what I mean about the word legend getting a bit used too much. He sat on his arse for 8 years. He only played a handful of times, if that. But there you go. Brandon says, I know this isn't a transfer show, but I swear Manchester United is trying to piss us off with interest in Šeško. Can't stand them.
You're not on your own, Brandon. You are not on your own.
You're not, mate. You know, Danielle's got a fan club all over our own. Bebe at Manchester United was terrible. Couldn't trap a bag of cement, stood on the wing. I remember him. 80% of players Ashley bought, says Trolls. Barthez used to have a smoke at half-time, apparently. Well, he was French.
So did Jensen as well for Arsenal. A lot of them did.
You just look at all the French players. How you doing? You know, it is half time. I have a little bit of a smoke, you know. Andy Carroll says, Angie, hate the lanky piece of shit. Wow, okay.
Oh, that was strong.
Yeah. We could, there's names coming in for your blog, Billy, if you're going to do one, and it's come up the Trey Chronicles.
Well, I like that.
Wow, that's a good
really
name. Well done,
good.
Tony. That's a good idea. Wolves F1 says those worst players are easily forgotten. 30 years EPL area. era. We don't remember them anymore. Oh, we do. Local hero says Thomas Brolin, rubbish. Claudio Bravo was a hologram. The ball kept going through him. Oh, dear. Proctor, ex-Sunderland, he was terrible. I think he scored 2 goals against Charlton. He was, Mark Proctor, right? He's classed as a legend, I believe, at Sunderland. I think he did all right. I don't think he was rubbish. My brother's a Sunderland fan. He used to love Mark Proctor when he was little.
Isn't he pre-Premier League, though, Mark Proctor? I can remember Mark Proctor that played for Middlesbrough and Forest. He was pretty shite.
He did. But
the same one.
He might have been Billy, yeah. It might have been the 80s, to be honest. But I don't know. Gary says, Muzzy is it? I thought Muzzy is it was a decent player.
Good player. Muzzy is it?
I thought he was as well. Didn't Mart Poom score for the Mackhams? 1 game, not 100%, but sure he did.
Possibly.
Not sure. Chipper says Stephen Wright, ex-Sunderland and Liverpool right back.
Good DJ, though.
Alex, did someone just escape from your closet? It was Alex's partner simply going to get some snacks by the looks of things.
Bless him.
Ryan Shawcross was absolute horror bags, this guy.
No, he wasn't.
Played for England.
Yeah, he did.
Well, he got murdered by Ibrahimovic and then never played for England ever again. But yeah,
but he's still got a cap. He was
got
a cap.
That was back when Stoke were very solid. No, he was fine, and he was a big part of that. I'm pretty sure he captained them as well. So that's a big shout. That is saying he's
indeed.
Not very good.
Tony says Dr. Oetker. That's it, Dr. Oetker. It's these. You get 5 little pouches. I'm not going on about it, but there you go. Dr. Oetker, if you're watching, sponsorships available. Mikey says callback. Oh, what's in that? Lichtsteiner at Arsenal. Anyway, we'll move on to left back now. Danielle?
Left back, I have got Wayne Quinn.
Oh, wow. Now, you know what? I did look at him, but I've shoehorned somebody else in. I haven't shoehorned because he could play it right. Well, saying he could play right or left back, but Wayne Quinn, okay.
Yeah, so he played 15 games in 3 seasons just for Newcastle, but also played at West Ham as well. He went on loan to West Ham, but he's remembered as one of the worst players in West Ham history and actually retired at 28 because nobody else wanted him.
Do you know what? Did he not play for Sheffield United for a time? Because I thought,
Maybe he did.
I think we bought him there.
Because I thought he did all right at Sheffield United, but he wasn't good.
No.
Good shout, Danielle. Adam says, who was the Polish guy who played in his PJs?
Palace goalkeeper. Palace goalkeeper.
What?
Oh,
I don't remember this.
He looked like he was in pajamas. I'm sure it was him. I'm sure you're right, Billy.
Can't think of his name.
I'm not sure he was Polish though, was he?
No, I'm not sure he was either. But definitely Palace and just amazing.
But he dressed a bit like Taibbi, like bottoms and oh god, it was pathetic.
He played for a while. Then you didn't see him for years, but he made a comeback years after for Palace. What was his name? He was crap, man.
He was Italian, wasn't he?
I can't remember.
I don't know. Tony says the laundry review. Carl says Kim and Aggie, eat your heart out. Paul doing cleaning advice. Oh, I like to be helpful to the world. Dyer played right back for England, Alex, apparently, says Yano.
Did he? Wow, I didn't know that.
So there you go. Glenn says Pastoni. Wolves F1 says Shevsky Cookie. Alan Pardew signing looks helpless when he signed as a free agent. Like some late February, played some game, 15 seconds and waiting. But ref final whistle came before.
Yeah, but go look at his goal celebration highlights on YouTube. That was why we signed him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Indeed.
Right. Left back, Alex, who have you gone for?
Another shoehorn. I've shoehorned in Titus Bramble because I need other
God
centre backs.
almighty. Titus Bramble at left back. That's even worse than centre back.
It is terrible. And I don't need to explain Bramble. Just calamitous, just unaware, playing the wrong sport. Just awful. Absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Just everybody, I'm sure everybody watching this knows knows him very. Unfortunately, they remember who he is.
Yeah, Bill, I think you might have been having a bit of a nightmare here, or you're taking the mickey. Marcelini was a good player. I read that his finger problem was extremely
Bloody
serious.
finger.
2 months.
Yeah, he couldn't get out of his arse.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and by the way, guys, just while I remember, the channel over the weekend basically went over the 300 million views. So thank you so much to everybody. Over 300. 300 million. 3 million. 3 million views, guys. So thank you very, very much for that. When it does hit 300 million, we'll all be driving around in Ferraris.
Yeah, we will be in Portugal when it's at 300 million.
Absolutely.
I'll have a driver. I don't drive.
Yeah. Well, you can hire a driver by then if we get 300 million. Goalkeeper for West Ham, Alan McNightmare. McKnight, I remember him. I have Bogart at left back, says Foxy. Billy, who have you got at left back?
I've got a Champions League winner.
Ooh.
Left back. Jimmy Traore, Liverpool.
Oh.
Absolutely dreadful. How he got a Champions League winners medal, I'll never know, because he was absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful.
I remember him having, I think it was Burnley, I think they played, and he had an absolute horror show. Alex's Kleberson for Man United was dog poo. You can become a legend for all the wrong reasons. Yes. Cesare says Liverpool's Diouf spitting image of a knob. Well said. Can we shout my lifelong friend and UFC supporter Jason Crowther, who is battling serious COVID? Get well soon, Jason. If you're watching, hope you get well soon, matey. Centre back Phil Babb, says Andrew.
Nah, he was all right, Phil Babb, especially at Coventry. Very good.
Domsky says Jose Altidore. Actually was quite successful in the MLS, but over here he was
terrible.
Yeah. Scott says, funny story. My brother-in-law is a Man United fan, and we went to the New Year match a few years ago at St. James's. He got noticed taking photos of the Man United players when they came to take corners, but he got some absolute hammer. Well, my left back, I have gone for Jan Krumkamp. So Danielle's gone from at right back. I've gone from at left back. Absolute horror show for Liverpool. Lasted half a season before they shipped him out. Dreadful left back. Had zero pace. Literally, I mean, look, Chris Wood could outsprint him, and that's saying something, right? So that's how slow the man is. He was terrible. And like I say, he lasted half a season before Liverpool said, nah, see you later, son. And off he went. Alex is Adi Akinbaye for Leicester. Yeah,
he came up when I was researching. A lot of funny ones we haven't been able to include, most likely.
Yeah. Ryan Shawcross was sadly remembered for that tackle on Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah.
That was awful. That was awful. Andrew says left back must be Michael Gray. Look, as much as I hate Michael Gray, I don't think he was that bad of a left back. Look, he did well in his career. He got called up for England. So he couldn't have been that bad. But listen, he's a Mackham, obviously, so I get that. But I thought he was actually a decent left back. At times he looked awful, but Geordie FM Steve Stone was great for Pompey in the EPL. Not having that. I didn't see somebody mention it. Must have been mentioned earlier on. Anne says it's just come to me about all the problems with the shirts. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a few Mackhams working for Castore taking the piss, sending anything out to us Toon fans. Yeah. Local hero says Ronnie Rosenthal. Oh, that one at Villa Park, man. How can anyone forget that? Honestly, just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Right, we move into the centre backs now. Now this will be interesting. Billy, we'll start with yourself.
We have one or two. Two centre backs. Well, I've gone for European Championship winning 1992 side Torben Picnic. It was absolutely awful for Liverpool when he signed for them. I know that hat trick of Andy Cole's against Liverpool. Just watch Torben Picnic's absolute ridiculous stance.
He was a bit of a basket case, wasn't he, Billy?
Go past him, and each occasion he was awful. And the other one,
nobody got that, did they? Nobody picked up on that.
Picnic, that's it. Yes, we got it.
Thank you.
And the other one, if Alex Ferguson had give this guy a contract, we'd have won the league in 1996. He played 3 games for Man United. They lost all 3, and I think they conceded something like 7 or 8 goals, of which 6 were his fault. A bald-headed Frenchman called William Prunier.
Bloody hell.
Absolutely diabolical. And as I say, when they released him is when their upturning form started. Had they kept him in the squad, I guarantee you would have won the league at 95-96 season. So he was absolutely awful.
Yeah.
And, figure of fun in my local when he was playing with the Man United fans around. So Picnic and Prunier were my 2.
Wow. Billy. Julian Speroni.
That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, that's him, without a shout. Good shout. Ian says, I thought Dr. Oetker did pizzas. No, it's Dr. Onken or someone like that does the pizzas. It's a very similar name. Dan says, Khalid Boularus wore the number 9 shirt at centre-back.
Oh,
Chelsea, yeah.
I hate it when people do things like that.
Yeah.
Chelsea,
Yeah. Most people in Sunderland support Shields. Yeah, they do. Kevin Phillips, of course, manager there. Benito Carbone, says Gary. I thought he was a decent player, actually. Well, on his day, when he could be asked.
Good for Wednesday.
Yeah, very good for Wednesday. Winston Bogart, centre-back, he was a disaster. Speroni was the Palace keeper. The shoehorn is coming in very useful again tonight. It is, Rachel. It is. Definitely. Does Alex know any other Premier League players? Yes, he does, actually. Missed 25 minutes due to stuffing my face with souvlaki and washing it down with a few bottles of Mythos. Time to catch up, says Alan. Shoehorning across the Tooniverse, says Ab.
Do you remember that song?
Yes. That was Spitting Image, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Star trekking.
Universe.
Star trekking across the universe on the Starship Enterprise cannot find reverse.
Class.
There's cling film on the toilet seat.
Oh, wow. Right, Danielle, centre-backs.
I've gone for Titus Bramble for obvious reasons. Didn't like big crowds, couldn't hold his concentration, just a terrible player. And I've also gone for Frank Sinclair, who was also known as Frank Own Goal Sinclair.
He was, yeah.
Due to being prolific towards the end of his career for just scoring in his own net.
Sorry, I've just seen Abs's comment there. 300 million, finally the Chinese have forgiven you. Brilliant.
That would never happen.
Who was your other one, Danielle?
Bramble and Frank Sinclair.
Bramble and Frank Sinclair. That's not that's a disastrous pairing right there. So Samantha, Jimmy Bullard, how dare you? How dare you? Listen, he was a character if nothing else. Jemba, shocking player. Steve Bruce was fond of Phil Babb's brother, Key.
He was.
Yeah, definitely. Alex, who have you got centre backs?
All right. Well, if I don't know any Premier League players, I'm not putting Boom Song in though, even though I wanted to. Even with the funny quote, I don't know if you've seen when I found this when I was scouting the Villas-Boas match report. He wrote in the pre-match against us. He wrote, "Defense is highly inconsistent due to individual mistakes or due to line uncoordinates." And he literally highlighted Boom Song in his pre-match stuff. But no, I'm gonna go for Claude Davis.
Claude Davis, bloody hell!
Who got his name Calamity Claude for the famous Derby season being with their 11 points.
Yep.
Absolutely shocking. I think he made 19 appearances. Was shot, and I'm going to partner him with somebody that I think is equally poor, who doesn't seem to get mentioned. That's Anton Ferdinand. I think he was absolute garbage, and he was riding on his brother's coattails for most of his career.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And found a quote that if his last name was Smith, he wouldn't have played higher up than Plymouth Argyle. And I agree with that. I think he was terrible. Whenever that I watched most of the QPR games when they were the back sort of that was it 1 or 2 years when they came back, and he was so poor. He was awful. So yeah, it's got to be Calamity Claude and Anton Ferdinand together for me.
Fair enough. Kevin says Phil Jones. No, Phil Jones is still playing. Believe it or not, he's still going.
He was actually okay in his early days. Blackburn, he was fine, and Man United, he was okay for a season or two.
Level 7 loves him.
Yeah, he does.
Mm-hmm.
Younger and Biwa, something about Newcastle shirts makes players underperform. I liked Younger and Biwa. I don't think he
he
got a
was
fair
so
crack.
good when we signed him.
Yeah, I don't think he got a fair crack, to be honest.
It was that game at Everton, weren't it, where he was scared, literally shit scared of Lukaku. Him and Colaccini were hiding from him all game.
Yeah, definitely. David Dunn says Samantha, the own goal king. Matty Pattinson has to be one of the worst players I've seen in a Toon shirt, says Mo. Did he get a chance, Matty Pattinson? I don't think he didn't play a lot. My central defenders are, of course, Jean-Alain Boumsong. I cannot leave that absolute pile of crap out. It was. Listen, I could have gone for 2 Newcastle players. I could have put Marcelino in there, but I didn't. The other one I went for is Rigobert Song from Liverpool. An absolute legend, by the way, for Cameroon. This is what I was talking about earlier, about some of these players being absolutely fantastic for the countries. Song was outstanding for Cameroon, but an absolute disaster for Liverpool. Absolutely terrible. So, putting Boumsong and Song together, well, the 2 songs.
Do you remember on Fantasy Football where, because he used to play with R.Song on the back of his shirt, and they all just say, I'll see they're playing our song again.
Yeah. Yeah. Class Fantasy Football. That was a brilliant show.
Class.
As ours will be.
Will be.
Liverpool paid £17 million for Alberto Aquilani. Their record signing at the time, had 1 season and sent back to Italy. Was shocking. 3 million views. That's Fab News. Keep it going. Thank you very much. It is. Carl's right. It's Dr. Beckman, the cleaning products. There you go.
Dr. Oetker does his pizza, didn't he?
Yeah.
Don't put Dr. Oetker in with your washing, whatever
No,
you do.
don't.
No.
No, that would be please don't. That would be a complete disaster, guys. Yeah.
Unless you've got a Mr. Blobby costume.
That's right.
We're okay with that.
Indeed. Gary says a lot of Italians don't seem to do well in the Premier League. Not all, but a high proportion. The Scumberland player, Chessie Crisps. Oh, dear God. Good shout out with Ferdinand. Spearing for Liverpool. Yeah, where did he disappear to?
Yeah,
he went to Bolton, didn't he? He went to Bolton. I think he's still playing.
Right?
Is he not? He went to Rangers. It wasn't Chase Spear. It was another one, wasn't it?
Ryan Kent.
There was a bunch of the rejects that from that time when Liverpool weren't very good, like just before they got Suarez. I think a lot of them went up to Scotland. I think a couple went to Rangers. I can't remember who it was. I think he was a fullback. Spear and somebody else. They were bloody awful though.
Oh, another one you mean?
I can't remember his name.
Well, if it's any consolation, I've just spilled freezing cold water all over me. That's lovely. Oh my God.
Picked the wrong week to do that. If you done it last week, you would have been loving it.
Well, yeah, I would have actually. Right. So who haven't we asked for? Have we done the centre backs now with everybody?
We've got everybody.
Alrighty, Roo. Now, you've gone for 4-4-2, haven't you? So I'm going to go for. Well, I'm going to go for
shoehorn.
No, I'll go for 4-4-2 because I can just shoehorn, so it's no problem for me. We'll go right side of midfield first. Danielle.
Albert Luque.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, he did score against the Mackhams.
He did.
So, I mean, that was probably one of the only good things he did when he played.
Albert Luque wrapped it up with a knick-knack paddywhack, send the Mackhams home. Hey. Anyway, yeah, he wasn't great.
He made it in my worst Newcastle team, so I could not put him in.
He actually came with a lot of potential, though, didn't he? He came with
another one. I put the black and white shirt on, and it just disintegrated.
Yeah,
so
it did. It did completely. Alex,
I'm staying with us. I've got to go for Overton. Gabrielle Overton.
Yeah,
I've never seen somebody. I mean, this is more not statistically. This is more so just from what I can remember with my own eyes. It was the most. People were frustrated with Maxi nowadays. Oh my God, if you go and watch some Overton stuff, you go and watch like a full 90 minutes, the amount of times that man would run at the fullback, stop, just I don't know, just forget what he was doing. Just useless, absolutely useless. Couldn't cross, couldn't beat his man, couldn't step into midfield, had no physicality, couldn't track back. Absolutely useless. And we signed him purely because he was a Manchester United scrap, and that was it. And he was so.
There was a reason why Man United got rid of him.
There were a couple of crosses. I mean, I saw him get an assist live. I remember it was. I went. This was the game I've mentioned before. It was McLaren's first game in charge against Southampton, and I was stood there slagging him off to a couple of friends I went with, and then he went and got a cracking assist, and I stand by it. He's bloody awful.
He shone once in a blue moon. I think it's fair to say, or got round a man once in a blue moon. Kevin says, when it comes to midfielders, would anyone dare to mention Beckham?
Oh, my cousin's got the same theory. He thinks Beckham wasn't very good. I don't agree.
I think he was overrated.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think he's overrated. But in this league of players, absolutely not. Very, very good player, but not as good as what people say he was. Absolutely not.
Wow. Okay. Evening, Susan. I know she's in the house. I've missed her message there, but Ian says, Harry, Paul, Danielle, Billy, and Alex, love you and glad to join you on the best live for me on YouTube. Cheers, Ian. Thank you very much.
Thank you, well, mate.
Right. Billy, who have you gone for on the right-hand side?
Well, if ever you saw this guy, you'd be kind of praying that he got injured and didn't play a lot because 4 relegations on this bloke's CV. Nigel Quasi. Relegated with QPR, Forest, Southampton, and West Bromwich Albion. Whenever he signed for you, you knew you were on your way down. Absolutely dog shit.
Yeah. There's a blast. Quasi, Jesus Christ. Gary says, Overton, I fully agree with that 2 million, and I still no. Boom song for me, he was awful to the point I actually felt sorry for him. Jesus. Ken says, heard it from me first, boys. Munoz to break into the first team. Well,
I mean, no, we mentioned that when we watched the Toulon tournament, but that's fine. You believe that?
You never know. Andrew says, Overton blagged a career.
He did.
Yes, quite clearly.
And he had a head like an alien.
Light bulb head.
Right, well, on the right-hand side of midfield for me, I've gone for Gabrielle Ambrosetti, who was signed by Chelsea. Again, came with a big reputation as if he was going to be the next something, and he just wasn't. He was pretty shit, to be honest. He didn't take to the Premier League at all. And again, it was one of these players that played a very short time, and Chelsea realised how crap he was, and see you later, back to Italy he went. It didn't work out for Ambrosetti at all, to say the least. So there you go. Right, we'll move across to the left-hand side, Alex.
I've got Bebe there. Bebe 7. So signed for Manchester United before Alex Ferguson had even seen him play. Was meant to be the next best thing. I think he was signed as the Ronaldo replacement, wasn't he? He was meant to be. I think made a handful of appearances and then just disappeared. Absolutely useless. I'm sure we're going to get more of these stories as we progress further up the pitch. There are a lot of people who were signed without being scouted, watched, or even being fake. And he was just absolutely useless. Complete waste of money. And he was given the number 7 shirt, which, Manchester United.
Yeah, I think that was astounding, actually.
It wasn't just a winger signing. He was given the number 7 after Beckham and Ronaldo, and he played like that. Gotta be him for me.
Yeah. I've just seen something. Ian from Toon Trader. At Mrs. Toon Review, you look bloody lovely tonight.
Uh-oh.
Where have you seen Mrs. Toon Review? And worse on, hi, Ian, or thank you.
She must have a new photo. She's got a new photo.
She hasn't. That's been there ages. Where the hell have you seen Mrs. Toon Review tonight, Ian? I think I'm going to have to make inquiries here.
We should just trying to get you some cutlery.
Probably.
Spoons.
Glenn says Beckham could not tackle or do anything, but in dead ball situations he was great, but his record ain't as great as people think. Overrated because of Man United and Fergie. Ian says Junior Lewis, incredible ability of being 6'2", standing height, and 5'8" when jumping.
We know someone else
yeah.
like that, don't we?
I'm sure we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now I read that earlier when I was researching. Now I know where Billy got the joke about Chris Wood from.
There you go.
I've said it for years about other people. People
Right, who hasn't given me the left side? Billy.
Yeah, I've gone for West Ham legend Marco Boogers. Managed to play 2 or 3 games. Sent off in his second game for trying to decapitate Gary Neville and disappeared to live in a caravan in Holland. Absolutely awful.
Oh my God!
Spent a lot of money on him as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
Absolutely snapped Gary Neville as well, didn't he? Like, destroyed him.
Kevin says Billy may remember this one. Ex-Coventry and Moroccan player Youssef Chico. I didn't think much of him at the time, which was the late 90s.
Yeah, Warren Barton's favourite player. He chinned him in right front of the referee because he spat on him.
Oh, yes, he did.
Get in.
Yes, I remember that. Wow. Stu says Carlton Palmer, Bambi on ice. I do not know how he got a career in the England side. I honestly still to this day.
Graham Taylor.
Well, yeah.
That really tall guy, the lanky guy who couldn't dribble. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. Awful. Danielle, left side.
I went same as Alex. I went Bebe.
Bebe.
Just on kind of on top of what Alex already said, they signed him for 7 million as well, which was funny because his number was 7. Also, he made 7 appearances, which is strange, which equates to like 1 million.
All the 7s.
Yeah.
Well, I've gone for Eric Jemba. I've had to shoehorn him onto the left-hand side.
It was Roy Keane's replacement on my left.
Yeah, well, in words, he was Roy Keane's replacement. He certainly wasn't Roy Keane's replacement on the pitch. I think that's fair to say. He was god-awful. And you know what? Everyone goes on about Fergie making some fantastic... He made some shite signings as well, guys. Let's not forget that. He made some absolute ball drops when he was
back
manager.
in the World Cup 2002, wasn't he? He signed 2 at the same time. Both were absolute dog shit.
Yeah, and Roy Keane makes a point of this when I don't know whether you've seen that interview where he's in a theatre with Gary Neville and he says some very much home truths about Ferguson.
Well, he left them out to dry when he left.
Yeah.
That team that won the title in his final season, a lot of us were all saying, "How is this team winning the title?" And then, it was evidently true because it was awful from then on.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we'll move into centre midfield now. But before we do, just to let you know, you can pick up the Toon Review merchandise now on the website. There is mugs, key rings, bottle openers, and phone covers there. Now, if you are interested in the phone covers, just make sure you read which ones we actually do. There is a list under the adverts for them, and you can find everything right here.
So let's get down to business.
I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me if you like it. Tell me if you like it now. I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me how you like it.
Let's get down to business.
So there you go, guys. The toonreview.co.uk is the place to go and get your merch. Aye. Savio Nezareko signed for £9 million. West Ham sold 6 months later, faked his own kidnapping and time in a Thai prison.
Flipping heck.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. It's like a
Wow.
Jones spin-off.
Interesting. Right, we'll look at the 2 in midfield now, and we'll start off with Alex.
So, yeah, one of my most hated players of all time has got to be Lee Catamol. Absolutely god-awful.
Yeah.
God-awful. So 271 appearances, 6 goals. So bearing in mind that Kieran Clark leaves us with 10, this guy got 6. An entire Premier League career. And it wasn't just Sunderland he played for either. He played for like Wigan and you know, there was other teams. 88 yellows. He got his 6 goals came from 147 shots, which I just think is quite amusing. Like, that's a lot of shots. It's just so bad.
Yeah.
Averaging 29 passes a game as a centre midfielder who's meant to be on the ball. Like 29 passes is I mean, that's what Lascelles is getting at the moment. And we're not bad right now. just absolutely shocking for somebody who was in the Premier League for so long. And you look through his stats, and it was like one goal, just every season from midfield. Just contributed nothing, nothing in passing, nothing in sort of goal, just nothing. The only time he scored a reasonable amount of goals was Sunderland when they first dropped into League One, and he got 7 in League One. It's the only time he actually managed to start scoring goals, and then he disappeared to VVV Venlo. No, he's not playing anymore because he's crap. And my other one, I'm going to partner him with the Polish player I hate the most on planet Earth, and that is Grzegorz Krychowiak, who I absolutely despise this man. And he played a little bit in the Premier League under Pardew at West Brom, and he just kept getting hooked after an hour, after 60 minutes every time. And he's just awful. He got 0 goals in 27 appearances. He is one of the reasons why the Polish national team is declining and has been declining for 4 or 5 years, because he is a number 10 sitting as a DM. It's just crap at international level. Poland are currently in that phase where they need an overhaul. They need somebody to come in and force all the old people to retire because they are awful. They can't get rid of him. And he was god-awful in the Premier League. But it's a weird one. I have to mention this. Once upon a time when he was at Sevilla, when he broke through, he was one of the best players in the world. So when they did a World 11, when it was like Ronaldo, Messi, Falcao, and then midfield was like Xavi, Iniesta, and Krychowiak in midfield. He was in a World 11. And he went to PSG, didn't get enough minutes, as most people do, and then went to West Brom under Pardew, and he's just awful. So I
get the feeling you didn't particularly like him, Alex.
Krychowiak with Katamol has got to be the least sort of substance midfield I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Danielle?
I went for another international player who was great for their international team and then were crap when they put the club's jersey on, which was Christian Basadas. Played between 2000 and 2003. Just fell apart really when he played for Newcastle. And then I went with Eric Jemba. So bad they had to name him twice.
Good point. He was absolutely shocking. I think that's fair to say. Billy?
Yeah, Eric Jemba gets into my side as well. I mean, not only because he was shite for Man United, but then for some strange reason, Aston Villa decided to buy him for a ridiculous lot of money as well.
They did.
And he was shite for them as well.
I wonder why they made that decision though, like based on what?
And I've partnered him with ex-Man City and Middlesbrough midfielder, the most handsomest of players, Jamie Pollock, who's absolute dog shit.
Jamie Pollock, bloody hell. The man who scored one of the most brilliant own goals you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Wow. Michael, thank you very much for your £5 super chat, matey. Got the 2 shirts. Brilliant. Of course, Michael's donating them to the show. 2 brand new Newcastle shirts to give away. So thank you very much, Michael. Poborski was good for the Czech Republic, poor for Man United. Kevin says, how about Joey Barton? His ability was good, but his attitude, well, we all know how bad he is. Can't help himself. Stu says, remember Jason Lee with a Daft Pineapple haircut? He was a meme on Skinner and Badil's Fantasy Football League. He was for a long time. A long time. Right, Billy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you've just given us yours, haven't you?
Yeah.
So it's my turn. I have gone for Lee Catamol. I could not put him in. I hated the guy with a passion. Very, very, very clueless footballer. All he was there for was to create fouls, create a problem in midfield. To be fair, he did that job very well because he was absolutely clueless as a footballer. But he was an arsehole to go with it. So he's definitely in there. And the other one I've gone for is Alberto Aquilani from Liverpool.
That's hard.
Big. Well, he was Liverpool's record signing at the time, don't forget, and he was absolutely horrific. He had 1 or 2 decent games, I think, but the rest, he was awful. And he's
definitely
not exactly
flopped. I agree, he definitely flopped for Liverpool, but one of the worst Premier League centre mids of all time, I think is quite harsh.
Well, I've put him there because of the money he cost, Alex, and the fact he was such a flop.
Yeah, no, that's very fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
fair.
because if you look at the money that they spent on him, he was supposed to be this huge, massive, big Italian star, and he just failed. He completely failed.
He returns to Italy. It's just he just couldn't hack it, could he?
Yeah. So I put him simply there because of that. Veron and Forlan were also poor for Man United, but excellent for their countries. Well, Forlan went to have on a fantastic career at Villarreal, didn't he?
Monster.
Looked a completely different player.
Monster at international level as well.
Yeah, he was. Veron was brilliant for Argentina, brilliant in Italy as well, to be fair. But again, nothing happened for him at Man United. A few decent games, but Kevin says, I'm amazed you four have not gone for Savage.
Yeah, true.
I didn't mind. Listen, Robbie Savage was one of those players that you'd probably love to have in your team. You know, he stuck up for all his teammates. Yeah. Stuck up for all his teammates, etc., etc.
And listen, he was world class, as he said.
Yeah, I think he takes a piss out of himself for that. But look, I thought he was okay. Robbie Savage, if he played in the middle of the park for Newcastle, you'd have loved him because he just got stuck in.
He wouldn't have got Europe if he'd have played in the middle of our midfield.
Well, all right, but you know what I mean. Right, we'll move on to the strikers. This is going to be very interesting. We'll start off with you, Billy. Who's your two strikers?
I got my second Graham Souness signing. Ali Dia.
George Weah's cousin.
George Weah's cousin. He's absolutely awful. And if you ever get a chance, have a look at him on YouTube because seriously, it's like they've picked someone off the street to play. But he's also got a bit of a Northeast connection. Also played for Blythe and Gateshead after he'd been to Southampton. And another one with the Northeast connection. Josie Altidore.
Yeah,
couldn't hit a cow's ass with a banjo.
Yeah, he was bad. He was bad. Interesting too, but Ali Dia, oh my God, that was the one soonest. I mean, I was reading about him earlier on this afternoon and reading what Matt Letitia said. He was sitting in when he came into training and said, God, this guy's embarrassing, he's terrible. And then they saw him on the team sheet on the subs bench, and then the fact that he came on the pitch, and then they had to yank him back off again, didn't they? Terrible. Jackie says strikers are Fashanu and Chopra for him. Tony says Nicholas Bentner. Darren says Noah Whelan and Adi Akinbayi. Stefan Givash gets a mention. Paul Dalglish and Bentner. Savio, says Ian. Andrew says Altidore, Milton Nunes, Riviere, and Givash. Dia for Scummers, Southampton, so bad. Souness truly was a fool to fall for him. Ali Dia, even at both Gateshead and Blythe, ended up playing Sunday League in Low Fell. Yeah, he did actually, yeah. David Rennick, thanks for your £10 super chat. He says, keep up the good shows coming, guys. We will. No problem at all with that. Alex, who have you gone?
So, yeah, my first pick is Ali Dia, of course. It's got to be. So I got a few different notes on him. So he came on, obviously played Senegalese. He actually managed to come on for 52 minutes before he was hooked under Graham Souness for Southampton, of course. He actually, before he got to Southampton, he tried to get in other places. So he was trialled in Coventry and Bournemouth, and they all rejected him. Yep. Somehow he managed to get into Southampton, obviously blagging himself as George Weah's cousin. So he's got to be number one, and number two was really difficult because there's a lot of people that you got your Falcaos and your Joe from Manchester City and your Siscos. There's a lot. But I've gone for something a little bit more different, more because he disappointed me, and that's I've gone for Ricky van Wolfswinkel for Norwich because I thought he was actually rather good before he came to the Premier League, and I was so disappointed at how crap he was. Because he was okay prior to coming to Britain, and then he just couldn't hack it. Yeah, I think he made 16 odd starts, a bunch more appearances. What did he get? A goal or something? Hang on, I've got him up here. He got one. Shite. Yeah, 25 appearances, 1 goal. And it's frustrating because he came from Sporting. He was good pedigree, played well, good movement. He was just awful, so bad. So yeah, Van Wolfswinkel next to Mr. Fake.
Okay, Danielle.
I went for Cisco first. Obviously, so good he was 7th choice. for Newcastle as a striking option. And then I went for Joe from Manchester City, who in 48 appearances scored 6 goals and 4 assists.
Oh, he was terrible.
Yeah.
Was Joe Harry Redknapp's? Did he go to Portsmouth eventually? I'm sure. Did Harry Redknapp take him?
I don't know.
I'm
He
not
was
sure,
their
I can't
record signing before Robinho, though.
He was.
Yeah, he was.
Who signed him for Man City?
Probably Mark Hughes, was it not? Or would it have been somebody
Hughes,
before him?
Oh, I think so.
I think it was Hughes.
Could have been Goran Eriksson. I'm not sure. Who will be the first to say Chris Wood? Well, we can't because he's still playing.
Allegedly.
Ian, Ian, I'd just like to point out, how many Sinclairs does Ian have on these shows? Week in, week out, he puts players and forgets that they're still playing.
Yeah, those are the rules for our Sunday night shows. We can't play.
Yes.
We wish he wasn't,
players.
though, don't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Oh, that's Benjani. That's him who, yeah. Dumbia is still playing, is he? Yeah. I mean, nobody knows how old Dumbia is, to be fair. I mean, that man could be like 136
He was so
years
good
old.
as well when he was a bit younger. It's so terrible what happened. It's weird.
Yeah, but nobody knows how old the bloody kid is.
In the 60s.
in the 60s, yeah.
Oh God.
Right. So my strikers are, of course, Ali Dia. I couldn't leave him out, and Milton Nunes, who, of course, Peter Reid signed and ended up realizing he'd signed the wrong player. You know, he'll never live that down. Absolute horrendous signing for Sunderland. And the rest was history, to be honest. He was just shit. There's no other words to put it. That he signed the wrong one and ended up looking like an absolute fool. So they're my two. So we're not going to score many goals with my team. That's a certainty with them two up front.
Isn't it strange though? Ali Dia, and there's one that played for Middlesbrough and Arsenal that was shite called Ali Adier. Remember him?
Yeah. They signed him from Arsenal, or didn't they, Borough?
Yeah.
We've got to have an honourable mention for Falcao, purely based on the fact that he was, at his time, probably the best striker in the world. Because obviously Messi and Ronaldo were wingers. So at that, it was like a 3 or 4 year period where he was out and out just the best striker in the world. Ridiculously incredible. Came to the Premier League, useless.
Couldn't hack it.
Just so odd, and he couldn't hack it for United or Chelsea. It was bizarre because he was just lethal for so many years, and he just fell off a cliff. It's the most dramatic change in ability I've ever seen in any footballer ever. He went from the best striker in the world to not good enough for the Premier League. It's just bizarre.
Crazy, isn't it? Glenn says Dumbia was in the trenches with me granddad in World War One. He's like a vampire. Right, we've got 3 subs. Who have you gone for your subs, Alex?
Well, I got Boom Song because I didn't put him on in my 11.
Yeah,
and Falcao. I was undecided on the third. I got on my list. I'll pop him in just because I had him on my list was Massimo Taibi as well, just to whack a goalkeeper on the bench because I chose Barthez, so I can pop him on my bench.
That's fine. Billy, who's your subs?
I've got another one with the 4 relegations on his CV. Ashley Ward, relegated with Norwich, Barnsley, Blackburn and Bradford. Michael Turner, Sunderland and Hull, centre-half, dreadful.
Oh, wow. Jesus, yeah.
And Arsenal signed him as a European champion. Scored the winning goal, actually, for Denmark, John Jensen. Absolute dog shit.
Yeah, John Jensen. Well, he scored... Did he score the winning goal in the final for Denmark in the Euro 92, wasn't it? Wow. Okay. Chipper says Falcao had an ACL before Man United and was never the same. That could be one of the reasons, to be honest. Ravel Morrison, says Adam Caldwell.
Still playing.
Is he?
It's not that bad, though, to be fair.
Just gone to DC United with Rooney, hasn't he, from Derby?
I think to be honest, I mean, he's one player that really could have had an absolutely fantastic career. Just the off-the-field antics. Unfortunately got in with the wrong crowd and never recovered from it.
Like every single star Man United player at that time all said he was the best player.
Yeah, they did.
Which is ridiculous, because we didn't see that as fans. So
it's a shame because he had the potential. It's one of these players that really never lived up to it. Danielle, who's your 3 substitutes?
I've gone for Boom Song, for Catamol, And the final choice is not because of his playing ability at all, just for the fact that he's a massive whopper, and I've picked Michael Owen just for being a prick.
Oh, yes.
Get it.
I deliberately didn't, but I'm so glad he's in here from somebody.
Not for his playing ability, but just because he's a massive whopper. Get it. Brilliant. Yes, I'll go for that one. My three are Ricky van Wolfswinkel. Simply because he was garbage when he came to Norwich, and he's got the most ridiculous sounding name ever in the history of football. Second one is Bosco Balaban, who was just horrific footballer. And Thomas Brolin, who instead of playing football, spent his time with Steve Bruce in the kebab shops and just wasted his career away in English football. Fantastic pedigree, played brilliant for Parma over in Italy, was a real star when he signed over here. Big name, but he was absolutely horrendous.
Speaking of Steve Bruce, by the way, being as everybody's picked Catamol for at least something.
Yeah.
It was Steve Bruce who said that he would like a starting 11, a full team of Lee Catamols, and then signed him for Sunderland when he went there.
Yes, well, our famous coach at the time once came out and said, I'd love to have a team of 11 Jack Colbacks. Mr. John Carver, of course, I think would be a little bit screwed with 11 Jack Colbacks, just like Steve Bruce's team would be with 11 Catamol.
That would be the most boring. Have you seen that? There's a video where they did 11 Jamie Carragher's against 11 Gary Nevilles on Football Manager as a joke on Sky Sports. Yeah. That'd be like the crappiest Northeast variant of that. Is 11 definitely. Jack Colbacks versus 11 Lee Catamols. Oh dear.
Right. Manager. Now, there has been some garbage. We'll start with myself for this one. And I'm starting with Steve Bruce. And there is no other man I can pick for the worst manager ever in the Premier League, simply because it is statistically proven that he is the worst manager ever in the Premier League. Just football that he plays, not just for what happened to Newcastle, but just over the years, he has been terrible. And this man has stolen a living as a Premier League manager for however long it may be now. Over 1,000 games, which is just beggars belief how he's got away with it for so long. I think he did okay at Birmingham. I'll give him that one, and probably Hull. But over the years, statistically, the worst manager there has ever been in the Premier League, and I will stick by that until the cows come home. Billy.
I'd had a look quite a few.
Oh, hang on. No, I can't go for Steve Bruce.
He's still managing.
He's still managing.
He's never going to be back in the Premier
I'm
League,
picking him, and I don't care. I'm breaking the rules.
Okay, bugger it. We'll break the rules with Steve Bruce.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I looked at a few. Egil Olsen at Wimbledon was dreadful.
Oh, yes.
Terry Burton at Wimbledon was also bad. Joe Kinnear, obviously.
Yes.
Another Wimbledon one. But yeah, you can't look any lower than Steve Bruce because he is the worst manager that's ever been in the Premier League.
Steve McLaren, Paul Jewell.
Well, you know, Steve Bruce is my manager.
Okay, Alex.
I mean, if we're going to break the rules, I'm going to have to go with Steve Bruce. I mean, my thoughts. Just for the sake of variety, I looked at like Villas Boas for the fact that it just never worked. He was meant to be the Mourinho successor, and he just bounced around Chelsea and Tottenham and stuff. It's just slipped my mind who I was.
We're getting some good names in the comments. To be honest, I mean, we've got Phil Brown, Danny Wilson,
Phil Brown,
Niall Quinn,
Nigel Worthington's another one.
Technically, Bruce isn't still managing the Premier League, so there you go.
I think Ranieri for the longest of time was pulling the wool over people's eyes as well. Post Leicester, I think every club he went to save them from relegation, I just didn't understand what he was doing. Yeah, I liked him at Leicester and prior to that, so I can't put him as the worst. But
I just think he looks canny, me.
But if you go and look at his time, at Watford and what he did with Fulham and everything, if you just go and look tactically, it was so bad. You've got no idea what he was doing. I think what Hodgson's just done at who was it? Who was he at? Watford. He was at Watford. Absolutely, I think he was too old. He went back for that season, however long he was back for. He wasn't there. He wasn't. That was a failed experiment.
Actually, if you look at Roy Hodgson's career in the Premiership, He had 2 good seasons. The rest have been absolutely awful. And when he was at Liverpool, saying we strive to get Liverpool to 10th.
It was West Brom and
his
Palace, right? That he did
career
okay
was
with.
just dreadful. Janos put Kenny Dalglish. I wouldn't put Dalglish in that bracket simply because he's won the Premier League. You can't put him as the worst manager of all time. He's won the Premier League.
I mean,
Yes,
Carver
he was
gets a
terrible for
shout
us.
purely because he
Yes,
said
Carver's,
he was amazing.
Carver's there. Kevin says Christian Gross. He was terrible as well.
Yeah.
Rudd Hullett. Paulo Di Canio, absolute nutter. Frank
But I'm
de
picking
Boer.
Steve Bruce.
Jacques Santini.
Yeah. Graham Souness even. Graham Souness was pretty shy.
Yeah.
Tom says you knew Egil Olsen was weird when he came out and said that he disliked music. What kind of person doesn't like any music at all?
Strange.
But no,
Ralph
I'm going with
Rangnick
Steve
might have a
Bruce.
shout.
No, Ragnar was fine. He came in on purpose to
I think he
expose
did a good
everything.
job.
He was that was all on purpose. That was to relay back to the board exactly who was good enough, what was going on, who was leaking, what the team was. Like I don't think you can completely that it wasn't just him. That was like a secret operation.
Yeah.
But
If you're looking at Premier League only, Brian Clough surely must get a shout because he won the season relegated.
Yeah, he didn't have a great time in the Premier League. Alan says Felix Magath.
I haven't explained my Steve Bruce.
Kevin
one.
says Harry Redknapp is a traitor to me 2 times over. Obviously, the Portsmouth Southampton rigmarole didn't go down well in the South Coast. I was thinking Joe Kinnear, but he was actually half decent at Wimbledon, says Tom.
He was.
Anybody else? Steve Wigley. Oh, GME. Yeah, he didn't have a great time at all. May he rest in peace, but Glenn Roeder. I don't think I don't think you put him down as the worst. Definitely not. Alan Shearer never won a game.
He did.
Very good.
He did win a game.
I know he did. Alan Pardew. Steve
got us
Keane
fifth.
at Blackburn. He had an awful time. He is a terrible manager. I'll give you that. Les Reed at Charlton. Good Christ. You can't put Gordon Lee Stotty because that was way before the Premier League time, unfortunately. But there you go, guys. That is it for tonight.
Can I give my list out, please?
Your list?
Yeah, I've made a list of all the reasons why Steve Bruce is a
Yeah, I've got a
terrible
list
manager.
as well.
Yeah, we've got to have the list. And
Me and Dixie
hang on.
did this last night.
This is a special list for Steve Bruce, so we've got to put this in this bracket. Obviously, just thinking about Steve Bruce has got Daniel angry, so there you go.
Okay, so this is the many reasons why Steve Bruce is a terrible Premier League or just general manager. No training, no tactics, playing players out of position, a massive liar, being deluded. Oh, lose the game, but you didn't beat within 90 minutes. All right, Steve. Victim. Oh, they're all picking on me. Them Geordies, I've never done anything to them. Okay, call them all keyboard warriors when we're all locked down. Doesn't give a shit about anything, really. Just wanted his payoff, aggressive in press conferences, lied about being a Newcastle fan. Everyone knows he's a Man United fan. Lazy, rude. The fact that he said, well, you know, every time he opened his mouth. Are you calling me a liar, Craig? Was another horrendous example of an embarrassment. Ignorant and no dignity at all. Oh, when the takeover happened, oh, I just want an opportunity to show the new owners what a great manager I am. Oh, come on, Steve.
You calling
And
me a
just
liar?
to kind of round it up, the fact that he's a massive, monumental bellend.
Daniel, everybody.
I think you're going to be shamed by Stato.
I do.
Get your
I feel
shamed by
better.
Stato jingle on as well. 'Cause I think Stato's got something to add.
Has he?
Yeah, I think so. Because he's got a list, haven't you, Alex?
Oh, I've got an enormous list. Yeah.
Oh,
Might have to
God.
cut it
Daniel,
short.
well, here we go. Go on, then.
So just to mix it up from what Danielle said, it's the fact that
we've just had a £10 super chat from Jabba Dabba Doo. Peter Reed, awful. Thank you very much, Jabba. Go on then, Alex.
yeah, so it's to do with all of the current players, pretty much all of them having to tread on eggshells when praising Eddie Howe and the current coaching staff. when referencing how good it is right now in comparison to the previous regime in terms of fitness, this is Joe Linton, Maxi, Shelby's come out. They've all come out. Ryan Fraser, they've all come out and said it.
Yeah,
They've all had to be very careful because they don't want to anger. They don't want to be too rude. But they've all come out and talked about training. The fact was it Richard DeLate who said it? I think it was him who came out and said that he turned up to one training session once at his old club and threw the ball in the middle of the pitch and said, "Right, let's crack on, lads, let's play." But mostly it's the training. It's the fact that unanimously, anybody who seems to speak about it is referencing the fact that they are fit, and they are fit for the first time in years, and they are enjoying sessions, and it's a complete contrast to what it was under Steve Bruce. And yeah, I personally think he got fluky at Hull with transfers. Which isn't 100% down to him. It's down to the scouting network, who was there before him, who some people potentially he brought in, and he got a little bit fluky there, in my opinion. And then everything that Daniel's just suggested, it's the opposite of how we want to be represented as a club in terms of how he conducted himself in press conferences and in front of people. Just argumentative, rude. He was fighting players. There were fallouts with Gale, with Richie. There was 3 or 4 players he had literal bust-ups with, where they were storming in offices. It was an absolute joke. It was a disgrace. And the fact that we've been told to move on, but he consistently keeps coming out afterwards and attacking us in interviews. And you cannot, Mr. Steve Bruce, you cannot cite the trolls who message you death threats. Fair enough. That's not fair. That is not fair. But we are not those people. The 99.9% of the fan base, we don't do that to you. We're just normal people. And you were terrible for our club and many other clubs. A lot of clubs that you have managed, go and have a look at how they're doing now, whether it's financially, which league they're in. They are in tatters, the majority of them. So, yeah, got to be the worst manager of all time for... I mean, arguably, he's definitely in the conversation for the football pyramid, not just the Premier League, let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
I have one thing to add, and that's it.
Okay.
One thing about Steve Bruce. All aside from everything that my esteemed colleagues just said, and they're perfectly right in what they say, he also has no common sense or intelligence. The only time he was nice to one of our fans when he thanked him for getting his dog back at a fireworks display. Took his dog to a frigging fireworks display.
Says it all about the man.
You need to know about Steve Bruce.
Yano, that is a quality comment. Steve Bruce was always inquiring about my health. Well, brilliant.
Get it down.
Brilliant.
Get that one down.
Yeah. Steve Bruce had no pressure from the top at NUFC. The only pressure he had was from us fans.
Well, no, because we weren't at the game, so he just got a free ride.
Yeah, of course he did. All the way. Right. That is it for tonight, guys. We hope you enjoyed the show.
What about the shirt? What about the shirt?
It hasn't been claimed yet. I'm going to give it till tomorrow night, just in case. So if it hasn't been claimed by tomorrow, we will put it up again. But obviously, Michael's got 2 brand new shirts this season's green one and black and white one to give away on the show, which is fantastic. So that'll be happening soon. Of course, the Man City ticket will be going up. That's how we're going to do it. We're going to do it on super chat basis. So you super chat the show, but any super chats that are made during that show will be going to Parkinson's UK. So if you super chat to be in with a chance of winning the ticket, then any money raised from that show is going to Parkinson's UK. So at least something's good is coming out of it, as well as somebody getting a ticket for the game as well. So we will do that probably back end of next week, I think. But hey ho, that is it. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. I like these little Sunday night shows when we can reminisce about good and bad players. And Alex, I think you've actually probably one of your better shows tonight for the best and worst of. Definitely. So well done. But thank you, Steve, for joining me. Thank you to the Mod Squad backstage for another fantastic performance to keep the chat nice and free running. And thank you to everybody that super chatted, became a member, and of course watched the show tonight and joined in with the conversation. Thank you so much. And we will see you tomorrow night, because tomorrow night is a show that you have all all been asking for such a long time. It is this one. What is FFP and how does it work? So join us from 8 o'clock tomorrow night for that one. And hopefully it'll give you a much better idea of what FFP means around the footballing world and obviously for Newcastle United. So make sure you tune in for that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. But until then, enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, guys. Good night.
How are the
Good
lads
night.
and lasses?